Hey everybody, Cynthia here. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Sunday. I wanted to share, I'm not sharing this layout, I'm just kind of showing you that I'm currently putting one together. It's going to be a Daisy Duck layout. Isn't she sweet? She was kind of tough to put together. I had a hard time figuring out her eyes, but anyway, I'm kind of just laying out my pieces that I cut on my Cricut. I still have to put like my photo mats together. And I wanted to cut out some flowers in this design that I showed you guys last week or the beginning of this week. I can't remember because time is getting away from me. But I'm going to make a few like this and even a few of these small ones. And I know I did tell a few of you that I would do a tutorial because you asked. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But before I start the flower tutorial, I had some questions on my bags that I use for like when I bag up my flowers for swaps or if I'm going to sell them in my store or at craft shows, and the backboards. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick tip before I show you my bags. I normally buy my bags from Michael's, but I also recycle bags, and what I mean by that is this is an embellishment pack of bling, and normally when I get done with something like this, I just take out the backboard and I reuse the bag. So I put the bag in a box for later use, you know, at a later time. Also, I reuse these types of bags. Now, you really don't want this up here, but there is a seal, and let me put a piece of paper behind it so you guys can see it better. You guys can see that perforated mark going all the way down this bag here. This is already sealed. I just don't want this piece. So I'll just take my scissor and I'll cut up like in the middle of that seal or on the edge. And that way the bag will stay sealed and I'm not like cutting into it. But I can get that piece off, and then once I'm done using like all my chipboard pieces, I'll have another bag to reuse at a later time. So not only can you do you buy your bags, but you can also reuse a lot of these bags from the embellishments that you've already purchased. So I just wanted to share that quick tip with you, so that maybe you don't just throw them out and discard them. But these are the bags that I normally buy, and they're from the Celebrate It brand from the Michael's Craft Store. I buy the tiny ones at 3 inches by 4.5, and you usually get 50 pieces in a bag. I'll pick these up. These are 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and these are the bags that I use for this particular set of flowers. I even pick up the big pieces. Oh, you get 40 pieces in this set, and then this set you get 32. These are the very large ones, 6 3/4 by 9 3/4. Normally I find these where they sell their packing supplies, their gift bags, their wrapping paper, those kind of things. It's in that aisle usually. And I don't normally buy these unless I have a coupon, because they're a little pricey, but if you use a coupon, it's a great deal. So this is the size bag that I use for those flowers, the 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. And my backboard is just a piece of cardstock. That's all it is. And I normally try to use scraps. Like if I've already cut into an 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, I use my scraps up. This one I measured at 5.5 by 4.5. And I'll stick the long end, which is 5.5 across, in sideways. They fit in perfectly in these bags. Okay, and then just fold this over and put some washi tape or whatever kind of decorative even clear tape, and then that's how I bag up my flowers. Now the tape that I use is repositionable. I don't have that on hand. Let me see if I can pull this out to share with you. The tape that holds the flowers onto the the cardstock itself. This is repositionable. I'm pretty sure I use Scotch. It's an orange tape runner. You can buy the permanent or the repositionable. I buy the repositionable just for this purpose. I don't have one, like I said, on hand to show you, but when I get my refill cartridges, I will come back on and show you guys what I use. Okay, so I'm going to be creating this flower here and the little flower here, just showing you how I put them together, in case you want to make them for yourself or for your swaps, or just to give to friends. So the punches that I used is this Fiskars. This is an 8 petal punch. I've had this for quite a while. And then I used 2 of these. This is the medium 8 petal punch and the small 8 petal punch. There's even a large. I haven't purchased the large yet. And these are from the Paper Studio, which is a Hobby Lobby line. I purchased these with coupons. So these are what I'm using. So what you're going to need for the bigger flower is to punch out 2 from the big one, then 1 from the medium punch, and you're going to need 2 of these little guys from the small. And then to create the smaller flower, I punched out 2 of the medium and 1 of the small. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. These are really, really simple to put together, and you can really get all your different types of flower punches out, mix and match, and create your own types of flowers as well. One thing I use is the flat end of a bone folder, and I just hold my flower at the base of the petal and I curl it 2 times under. So it kind of looks like that. And you're going to go ahead and do that to all the petals. Hold it steady at the base so you don't pull the petal off, and just curl it like you're doing curly ribbon. Okay. And then I have a little piece of foam here. It's kind of spongy. It's going to look like this once you're done. Oop, sorry. Once you're done curling all the pieces, looks like this underneath. It's gonna look like this from the top. I'm gonna lay it on my foam. This is I think they call this a stylus. It's basically got rounded edges, different sizes. You use this for dry embossing. If you don't have one of these, you can just use the rounded edge of a paintbrush. And all I'm gonna do, try and get a close up for you, is I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to run it along the base of each petal in a circular motion. I'm not going to go in the middle or on the petal itself. I'm just going around in a circle at the base. Okay? Around the circle, you can see it's kind of lifting the petals up. And I'll just do that a few times, okay? So it ends up looking like this on the side, bottom, and top. Set that aside, and you're gonna go and do the same thing to your second petal. Hold it at the base and curl all the edges down like you would your curly ribbons. Once you complete that, lay it out on your foam. Use your stylus or your rounded edge of anything, your paintbrush, and run it along the base of all the petals in like one big circle. Okay, and you're going to do that a few times till you get the petals lifted up as high as you want them. And then all I do, this is a Scotch quick dry adhesive. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I'm going to add a tiny bit. Ugh, my cap is clogged here. Try that again. It's still clogged, guys. That's my fault because I never wipe it off after I'm done using it. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna add just a tiny amount to the center. And I usually use a tweezer when I put my flowers together so that I can see exactly how they're gonna lay. And I'm gonna offset the petals till I get the look I want and just hold them together in the center for them to dry. Okay, so the base of your flower should look like that. And then this flower, I don't do anything except run the smaller end of my stylus at the base of the edge of the petals. That's it. Just to kind of lift them up a little bit. So it'll end up looking like that. See how it's lifted a little bit? I'm going to turn that around, add a tiny bit of adhesive to the center of the flower, kind of offset the petals, and hold it in place. Okay, set it aside. Now you have these two little tiny pieces. I don't do anything to those before I glue them. I'm just going to add a little dot to the center, and I'm going to line them up. Offset the petals and hold them in the middle. So it should look something like that. I'm going to put it on my foam mat and just run it around the edges to curl them up a little. Okay. So it should end up looking like this on the side and that on the top. Adhesive. And line it up in the center. So all it needs is a pearl or a gem or a bling in the center of the flower, and that's it. Okay, so then for the smaller ones, oh, that's exactly how I made the bigger ones. I just used different pattern paper. So on the paint on this one, you can see I used polka dot. And then here's that medium-sized petal you see here. That's a different pattern. And then the two smaller petals, I used the polka dot again. Okay, so that's how I did that throughout all these flowers here. But this is the one that looks like the little daisies, I think. So then for the smaller flowers that look like this, I'm basically going to do the same thing I did with this flower. I'm just going to take the tips and curl them under just a little bit. Kind of give a little bit of life to the petal. And lift it up. I'm curling them under. Oh, see, I didn't hold it strong enough. Let me punch out another one. I do that all the time. I'm too rough and then I rip the petals right off. So, hey, at least you can learn from my mistake, right? Okay. One more time. Hold it tightly at the base and don't pull too hard or you'll end up ripping them off like I did. And curling them under. Just a little bit, not much. Okay? Lay it on your mat and then at the base you want to make a circular motion. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And then I don't really do much to the center. I just kind of run these. I'm going to do two at a time. There we go. It's a lot quicker. Okay, so they're lifted. And then this one here, I'm just going to run it around the center just a little bit. And then they're ready to glue. If you use a nice heavy cardstock, they hold up really well. If you use thinner paper, you may want to dampen the petals a little bit before you put them together, and that way when they dry a little stiffer. But that's completely personal preference and up to you guys. just add my center, line it up. I usually use tweezers because I can see it better when I try and use my fingers. My fingers are very chubby and I can't see what I'm doing, so I use the tweezers and that way I can tell better. So that's what the smaller flowers look like from the top and the sides. And that's it, guys. Like I said, all they need are their centers and they're ready to go for any project. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope this helped. Have fun creating yours. And thanks so much for watching. Take care.